Welcome everyone to our lesson on adding and subtracting fractions, a very important skill that we need to know. So we're going to do some examples. So let's start with 1/2 plus 5/12. Now, what's important when we're adding and subtracting fractions is that they must have a common denominator, meaning that the denominators must be the same. So I have a 2 and a 12. These denominators, the bottom part of the fractions here, must be the same. So how can I make them the same? Well, here's a 12. If I multiply this 2 by 6, and whatever I do down below, I got to do up top. Okay? So that 2 times 6 down below is going to give me 12. And then that 1 times 6 is 6. And I didn't change anything here, so we're going to write 5/12. And since the two fractions have the same denominators, I can go ahead and add them. But when I'm adding them, we are not adding the denominators. The denominator is going to be the same. So it's going to be 12 as a result of adding these two fractions. So 6 plus 5 is what I'm going to add, which is going to give me 11. So 1/2 plus 5/12, or 6/12 plus 5/12, is going to give me 11/12. That's the answer. Let's do another example. I have 3/5 plus 4/7. Okay, so I need a common denominator. What I can do is, I have a 5 and a 7, right? If I multiply this 5 by 7, and whatever I do down below, I got to do up top. And I multiply this 7 by 5. And again, whatever I do down below, I have to do the same thing up top. 5 times 7, or 7 times 5, is going to be 35. Okay? 3 times 7 is 21. And 4 times 5 is 20. And since the denominators are the same, I can go ahead and write 35 as a result of computing these two fractions. And then I'll do 21 plus 20, that's 41. And look at that, that's our answer. Now 11/12 and 41/35, I cannot reduce these two fractions, so they are already simplified as it can get. Okay, let's do our third example. So 3/4 plus 5/3. Here's a 4, here's a 3. So if this is a 4, I can multiply that by 3, and I'll do the same thing up top. And since I have a 3 here, I'll multiply that by 4, and I'll do the same thing up top. 3 times 4, or 4 times 3, is 12. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 5 times 4 is 20. So 9 plus 20 is 29. And I can't reduce that. All right. Number 4, let's see, 8/5 minus 2/3. So this time we are subtracting the fractions, but the steps are not going to change at all besides me subtracting, right? So here's a 5, here's a 3. I'll multiply this by 3. I'll do that up top. Here's a 3, I'll multiply that by 5, and I'll also do that up top. 5 times 3, or 3 times 5, that's 15. 8 times 3 is 24. Here's the minus sign. 2 times 5, that's 10. 24 minus 10 is 14/15. And I can't simplify this, so that'll be my answer. Now, if I had to do all this, and the result requires me to simplify, then you need to make sure that you simplify the fractions, okay? So if this was 24 minus 12/15, that's going to give you 12/15. But this is not simplified, right? So I need to divide the top and the bottom by 3, and you're going to get 4/5, and that would be the answer. All right? So hopefully that makes sense. This is a very, very important skill. Please make sure that you have an understanding of how to add and subtract fractions.